beers. Bloody brilliant
beers
on the piss.
And welcome back to the Bloody Brilliant Beers podcast, brought to you by Better.
That's Cots. I'm Das. We are the Bloody Brilliant Beers. We started out reviewing craft beers on Facebook, and now we bring you the conversations that you'd more than likely hear from the front bar at your local. And where are we today, Clutzy?
Mate, once again, the Caxton Hotel, the sun is shining, the cricket's on, and I'm fucking horny.
Yeah, very horny. We've got two very, very special guests with us here in the Caxton today. I don't know why it's taken us this long to have these boys on, really. Probably our most requested guests,
yeah,
I'd
I
say,
reckon so.
Since we started. The boys from Where You Got the Chocolates, Leigh and Skin. How are we, gents?
Very well, thank you, Das. Thanks, Klutz. It's magnificent. It's a real surprise that you're in the Caxton Hotel. I'm pretty sure you've done every episode from there. So
yeah,
it's nice
we just like to keep people updated. Yeah, part of the contractual agreements that the free rent comes along with.
It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. It's
can't complain with it at all.
Probably one of the great studios in the world. But yeah, of course, the boys here from the We Got the Chocolates podcast, Brisbane Podcasting powerhouse. I don't know why it's taken us this long, but it's great to have you. We've had you in the Caxton a multitude of times as well, but in front of camera, in front of microphone, in between Christmas and New Year, like probably the busiest time of the year for everyone. We've made it happen. Skin's about to become a father as well, so yeah, it's great timing. But no, thanks for coming in, boys. How are we going?
Good. Thank you for having us. Going very well. I also don't know how it's taken us this long. I feel like we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Something always pops up. So it's nice to finally make it happen.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
We're always here, there, or everywhere. For people who have been living under a rock and maybe don't know who you boys are, do you want to give us a quick little overview on the Chocs podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we probably started, I think, similar time to you boys. I reckon it was a sort of pre-COVID kind of adventure, like just pre-COVID. I think 2019. There was a few podcasts around, maybe like Bloke in a Bar and the Grade Cricketer. I think it started, and I came to Mitch, who's my brother. Obviously, we're brothers, and said to him, I think I want to try this like podcast thing because I'd emceed a few weddings at that point, and people would always come up to me after a wedding and go like, "Oh, you got to try and do this full time." And I was like, I don't think I'd be real good at emceeing random people's weddings.
Also, surely you'd struggle to make a crust out of that, right?
Exactly. I was like, I was teaching at the time, and like I wasn't a particularly passionate teacher, but full time MC, I was like, I don't think that's I'll stick with teaching. Thank you. But then, I guess the thing that I liked about emceeing my mates' weddings was telling stories about them and just getting the crowd on board kind of that way. And so I sort of thought that a podcast, like it was a new concept and something that I thought we could probably take those skills and put them into something else. And then Skin, on the other hand, I mean, you love public speaking as well, Skin.
Yep. I mean, podcasting just made sense for me. No, I really just got roped in because he needed someone to sit there and listen to him. And we still lived together at the time, so I was at home. I would have said about 7 words an episode for the first 100 episodes. But we just stuck at it. And it
was always meant to be quite a comical thing. Like, I think it was always meant to be fairly entertaining. We talked quite a bit about sport at the start, but it was never in a way of like, oh, here's who won on the weekend kind of thing. Like we were never probably that way inclined. We always wanted to, I guess, make each other laugh. The thing that we liked about, we've always played cricket, and we've played quite a few sports growing up, but I guess we're the most addicted to cricket, and cricket's one sport that gives you a lot of time to sit on the sideline when you're shit at it, particularly like if you nick off early. Like I've always batted at 4, Skin's batted at 3, so like if you nick off early, they're pretty long days. sitting there and talking shit and getting to know your mates pretty well. So I guess we wanted to try and capture the essence of that and put it into a podcast format, which is it's always been a lot of fun. Like genuinely, I think sometimes, and you guys have probably had this too, like sometimes people come to us and say like, oh, you guys blew up out of nowhere. And we're like, nah, not really. Like I reckon we just did 96 episodes where Mum listened.
Yeah. Literally. And the rest.
There was no secret. We literally just kept doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Like that's, you guys get the same thing. The most common question, like, how do you get listeners quickly?
Yeah, when you started, how'd you get listeners?
If you guys find out, tell us.
Literally, yeah.
Basically, just like go home, put it on Spotify and repeat for 3 years, and hope that you can like rack through the counter quick enough.
Yeah,
it's fucked.
It's a wild one. I know for us, and obviously people listening who are coming from outside of the audience will know, like, we obviously started out reviewing craft beers. So, like, to be sitting here now and doing all the random shit that we do is, like, so far from where we started in terms of, like, how we thought it was going to look, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but I'm assuming it'd be the same for you guys. Like, did you ever envision it to be sort of where it is now?
No, not at all. I think, like, in the first instance when we started it, like probably the idea was, like Leigh was getting told for ages to do something with the fact that he liked public speaking. So it was probably like the best outcome would be if we built a little portfolio and he got a job in radio or something like that. Was like the idea, and then so we never expected it to be like what it is now in terms of being our full-time thing or anything like that. And then I feel like the content's changed a fair bit for us as well. Like, we didn't start doing craft beer, but like maybe spoke a little bit more about specifics with sport and stuff at the start than we do now. And it's changed a fair bit to where like now we just sort of tell jokes and play games and try and make each other laugh. So I think, I don't know, it makes sense that you look back at your early episodes and it's just like completely different, and you probably hate your earlier work.
Yeah, 100%.
We've sort of stuck to the craft beers. I mean, we're having 4X Gold right now. So. Queensland's best craft
We
beer.
literally just recorded an episode before you guys came in, and Klutzy's obviously going to Japan for a few weeks, and I was like, maybe you should bring back the beer reviews while you're away, get back to your roots.
Get a maggot in Japan.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it won't cost you much over there. We've just come back and we were...
mate.
Yeah.
My sister's boyfriend told me there's a game that I need to play in 7-Eleven, and you just blindfold yourself and go like this, and then someone says stop, and then whatever your finger points at, you have to buy. It's like $2.
I was going to say, just for anyone not watching that, Klutzy is just pointing
around
the room.
Just pointing around the room. Apparently they've just got all this piss at the 7-Elevens. It's like a couple of dollars.
Yeah, you can get like 500ml cans of beer for $2.
Yeah, see, that's insane.
It's unbelievable.
There's a high chance I'm maggot for 20 days.
There's a high chance you might not come back.
Yeah.
Beer prices over there.
I reckon if beers were $20, you'd still be pissed for 20 days.
That's true.
That's true. It's not an economical decision for you.
We get blind every time we go to Sydney, and it's double the price here.
That is true.
And I don't understand how the country is so productive. That's what I said. We were sitting there outside of a 7-Eleven drinking a $2 beer, and I was like, if I could do this every day, I would never get anything done. Like, it wouldn't work.
Everyone goes, the alcohol prices are so high in Australia. It's like, yeah, they definitely are. But can you imagine if they were lower? Like, we don't need any encouragement at all.
It'll literally be like a metropolis. Like, if we're based off what's happening in Japan, we would be a metropolis.
Yeah, so you reckon we need to lower the piss price?
If we lower piss prices,
we'll get more productive.
More productive. I don't know if you see many people on job sites, but the more piss in them, particularly concreters and brickies, the better work they do.
Yeah. Doctors and surgeons and stuff, probably the same, huh?
Yeah. Fuck it.
Just calms down the shaking hand a bit, you know?
Just need to take the edge off a bit.
Walking up for a surgery and your doctor looks like he's had 300.
Looks like Klutzy, day 3 of the Jack.
Hey, Klutzy,
smugglers.
just sort that ACL out for me, man.
Fucking hell. Oh, crazy stuff. Speaking of surgeries, you guys will like this as well, I reckon. I saw this thing last night. Someone posted on Facebook about they're getting like laser eye surgery or something, and they're having all these like, I don't know if I should get it, if it's worth it, all this sort of shit. And they're asking for reviews of people that have had it before. And this one bloke, it was the most liked comment, posted a screenshot of the fella, and he's wearing glasses, and he is the surgeon. And everyone was like, should we be getting this surgery if this cunt has not even got it himself? Like, he's literally got glasses. Like, this guy hasn't done it himself. How are we to trust this guy?
Yeah.
It was good stuff.
It's like going to like a tennis coach that can't hit a forehand.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Literally.
Back to Japan, boys. Obviously, you guys have done your fair share of travel with the podcast now, and I've seen you guys do heaps of stuff with like the MotoGP and stuff. How's it feel to be able to do that sort of thing? Like, I know when we started, we always said like if we could ever travel for work with this, it would be crazy. It must be pretty cool to be able to go places like Japan and consider that a job, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think Japan was the first time we'd been overseas, so that was like for work, so that was exciting. First overseas trip, but yeah, it was a strange feeling that we were on the tools that week. And still like just got to see all the sort of stuff that Japan has to offer, so that was pretty unreal. And then, we end up doing a fair bit to like Sydney and Melbourne with things like the MotoGP. That was also strange because we've never cared about motorsport before in our life. Somehow ended up there, but
That would kind of do. Somehow it's like if you watch it and you're there at the event, you end up caring.
Yeah. You get an appreciation for it.
Yeah,
I guess. It's
exactly.
going to be the same with anything.
But also, it's like it's hard and clutchy. Like you were genuinely on the tools. Like we always say, we're on the tools. But I was a teacher and worked at Rebel Sport. They're my 2 jobs before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not exactly on the tools, but it's even like in Japan because we were actually working. Like they were quite. Like, there were some days that were quite long. Like trying to
Yeah.
film and stuff. You're like, this is a big day, but you can't like go back to your mates that are like roofers in like 38 degree heat.
Yeah.
Oh man, had a massive day at work today. And
Yeah.
like,
Jeez.
in Japan.
real tough gig. I had to do 20,000 steps around these 6
Yeah.
different tourist destinations.
Yeah, drinking $2 beers. Yeah.
You can't really whinge to anyone about your day's work being tough.
Oh, 100%. Like when we got back from the Jack the other day, I was like, said to my missus, I was like, oh, it's been a hectic couple of days. I just need a rest. She's like, you've got on the piss and played golf. Yeah, but you didn't see all the work after hours. I put in some serious work. Even like Vegas and shit like that. They'd be like, oh,
We didn't do enough work in Vegas, though. Too much play. We basically just kept the lights on. And it was...
nobody was home.
No.
Tough.
Yeah, it was like, again, you feel bad, but fuck, it was tough.
No, it is a tough one.
The flight home was no good.
With the Japan stuff, we got those little capsule fucking things.
yeah.
How were they?
They're sick. They're so cool. Yeah.
They look fucking so unreal.
Will he fit in one?
No.
Oh, that's
Just.
a great question.
Yeah,
Like you said,
he'd
it's
get
right.
in, I reckon.
Yeah.
It was amazing, amazing for the fact that if you sleep well, I think you'll be fine. But like, I woke up at one point, like 3 a.m. in the morning, there were about 12 blokes snoring.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which is
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
It's
You're
strange.
just in this room with 20 other people
Yeah.
sleeping, and there's people are coming in and out and snoring, and Leigh, it's meant to be dead silent because it's strictly for sleeping, and Leigh drops his guts and stuff like that. So it's
Fuck, I could not go
the
there.
greatest sleeping conditions, but
You talk about mine not coming back. You might gash yourself out, mate.
Exactly.
That was
Capsule.
actually a very poor aroma in there.
Stand back when the doors fucking open.
They took like the no speaking thing so seriously too. Like it was the
Yes.
most silent place of it. Like I've been in libraries that are like, you're not meant to talk, but people do.
yes, because
This-
people in Japan are like respectful. Of
The beers are cheap. They're respectful. Come on. Yeah.
It's a cultural difference.
The place we stayed in, the Jack, because I don't know if yours was technically the same place, Leigh, but we stayed in this like wellness spa up the top, and on like day 2, I noticed in our room we had a little like, I don't even know what you'd call it, like a tiny little A-frame piece of paper card thing on one of the tables, and it was like, please don't use your phone in common areas of the spa. It's like a proper like switch off spa thing, and then we were there like literally just in the depths of a bender for 3 days.
I don't get those sort of places. I don't think I'd be
Wellness
like
That may come as a shock to the listeners.
a wellness centre. Yeah, fuck
is
that.
weird. It's like klutzy at a wellness centre would be unnerving.
Probably going to some like fucking psychiatric shock or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Would not be good.
Yeah. It's 3 days after Jack, you nearly were in psychiatric shock.
Yeah, that is true. Really just recovering.
Boys, going back to sort of the start, I guess, when did the podcast sort of first gain a bit of traction, and when did you realise, like, shit, we might actually be onto something here?
Yeah, good question. I think it's probably hard to identify one particular moment. I think our big like breakthrough was sort of when we started doing those like the Don't Laugh challenges. Like we always like, and that was sort of something that I did while emceeing and stuff, was always those stupid like dad jokes and just like puns and stuff. I think I played a cricket season in England in like 2012 where we had like 4 home games rained out. Like it just rained all the time. Great place, and and so consequently I tried to memorise as many dad jokes as possible, just to be able to like bring up whenever like people would talk about like a random topic, just to have something to go to break up the conversation. Also because I'm not great at listening to long pieces of conversation, so like if I could interject with a stupid pun, that would
Break it up a
that'd
bit.
be a win for me. Yeah. So that was kind of how that started, and then I think we saw like someone in America doing like those Don't Laugh challenges, and we were like, oh, we'll have a crack at this. Like again, not expecting it to be good or go well or anything like that, but but they did. Like they were when we started them, they went pretty big for us. They were the first things that sort of popped off like on socials. And then I guess we managed to be able to get a few people across the podcast. We were always doing the podcast. We started with that first.
Yeah.
So were these challenges and stuff just on YouTube at the start? Or were they part of the pod as well?
Yeah, they weren't. They were separate to the pod.
Yeah,
We were like,
yeah.
we just. I guess we always wanted to be able to do like little pieces, like do a podcast, but also create content on like YouTube and stuff like that too, didn't we?
Yeah. I think we always wanted to be able to do a bit of both. We probably just weren't sure exactly how to navigate it. But yeah, those like dad jokes, sort of don't laugh challenges, were probably one of the first things that we tried, and they were separate to the podcast, but went really well on YouTube, and then in like sort of short form cut downs and whatnot as well. So then it was. Yeah, just a matter of trying to get as many of those people to listen to the podcast as possible, which is a slow process.
Yeah.
Don't we know
I
about
think
that?
that's the tough gig. Is like people will find like you can capture people's attention for 30 seconds for like a vertical video, but to get people across for, and you guys know that as much as anyone, like to get people across for 40 and 50-minute podcast episodes, like you certainly have to be pretty loyal and pretty keen on what the product that's being provided. So it's not always easy to get people straight from socials to go like, oh yeah, come and listen to the podcast as well, I think, because a lot of people can absorb a video, a vertical video, but the podcast is you've got to be doing some driving or in a spot where you want to listen to a podcast as well.
Yeah, the amount of people that we've had come up and like love the podcast. Never actually listen, but I love the clips. It's like, thanks, man.
Or like, which one's Clutty? Like,
We get that
Hey, alpha blokes.
yeah.
People will tell us they love the podcast, and they'll be like, wait, what's it called again?
Yeah. You do that thing on TikTok. That's right. That's us. Yeah.
Yep.
We get that stuff.
Alpha Boy. Oh, the Better Beer Boys.
Yeah, we got the Better Beer Boys recently.
Really?
Never had anything to do with them. We claimed it though. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
us.
Yeah,
Got it.
wonderful.
Well done.
I think as well, like people, it's very what's the word? Like everyone's got a podcast these days. So, and people like I know personally, like obviously don't travel to and from work as much anymore, clearly. But when I was in the office every day, you have your rotation, and like to have something new break into it was always quite challenging. So I think it's getting tougher and tougher. But yeah, I definitely remember seeing your guys early, like on Facebook and stuff as well, just popping up out of nowhere. I feel like there was, and we were sort of at the same time period almost. I think like the socials, I don't know what it was. TikTok and Instagram just seemed to fly. And I think that's when we first came across you guys. It was pretty cool to sort of see someone else in Brisbane who was having a crack, because I don't know, like your thoughts on it, but for us, all like the guys doing what we wanted to do were sort of down in Sydney. And it almost seemed like, impossible is not the right word, but yeah, there was just no one really up here in the space. How have you found being up here in Brizzy away from, I guess, the hub, if you'd call it that?
Yeah, I think fine. Like definitely it does feel like a lot of the kind of bigger podcasts, certainly the ones that we've kind of idolised, like Hamish and Andy and Shameless and stuff like that are definitely more New South Wales and Victorian based. But we probably first came across you guys with like the Magic Round stuff. And you had pretty much everyone that's ever done a podcast on rugby league was here for like in 3 days. Basically, you pumped out about 8 episodes that first Magic, well, not first Magic.
That was fucked.
Yeah, so that was crazy. Yeah,
that was when we sort of saw you guys and the Hello Sport boys and sort of worked out like that there were other people around Brisbane as well. But no, I think it's fine. Like I mean, podcasting is one of those things. It's like you can do it from anywhere. Like it's kind of the great thing, I guess. And then when we need to be in Sydney or Melbourne, we're obviously able to get there generally.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I probably haven't really thought about it or noticed it that much, because it's something you can do from anywhere. And like all of our content has just been like ourselves telling dad jokes and doing the podcast and stuff like that. So we've never really relied heavily on doing interviews with other creators and stuff. Like when there's an opportunity to do stuff like that, it's obviously awesome. But I guess if we're like not relying on it, it's not like we need heaps of other creators around us to work with. I suppose it would always be nice. But
you haven't built up your brand off the back of that, so if it's not there, it's no big deal, right? Like it's an added bonus when you can, but there's not the necessity to sort of have people on. I think we're sort of the same. Like we love getting people on, and like interviewing is not the right word, but I guess collaborating. But it's the same.
Sure,
like I think if you can do it on your own, it's much easier.
And then we've got the positives of like nice place to live. Winter's pretty good. So
State of Origin normally
don't get ice on them.
less traffic.
Less traffic. Cheaper beers. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why we're productive.
And they're all very essential for podcasting.
Not as many fuckwits.
That's Clutzy's opinion.
Love you, Sydney.
Be back down there very short soon.
Yeah, we will be. I actually love it down there. It's great. I really like the northern beaches.
Wearing no clothes.
Yeah.
Buddy smugglers only.
Just stripping off.
Mate, with this Jack thing that we've talked about again, I read a comment recently. I think it was when you did the Daryl Braithwaite, when you guys were down for that Daryl Braithwaite. Someone on your video commented like, social anxiety is scared of Clutzy.
Yeah.
I thought this was like the greatest comment ever. And then we're at the Jack last night for like this presentation dinner, and there's a video that Mikus, who was with me, took, and it's just like panned around the room and everything looks really normal. And it's like me in a suit. Or whatever,
normal as in like a fairly formal looking.
Yeah.
Smart casual was the dress code.
I think it was smart casual, which also like some of the dress codes at that event were genuinely
questionable.
Taking the piss. Like people's interpretation of
popping hot fucking flaming boardies with thongs.
Yeah, like people's interpretation of the dress codes. But anyway, that's another story. But we were smart casual that night, right? So it pans around and there's like normal, smart casual. Clutzy just in his budgies.
Someone's got to do it.
I was dreading that, So Clint sort of put us up to that, about a week before the Jack? Maybe not even that
even a week. Yeah,
rang
Friday.
us and was like, we've got this old tradition where anyone who wins an award, we chant, get in the pool, and they get in the pool. He's like, it's fallen away the last few years. We want to bring it back. I was hoping that you boys could get down to your budgies and do it. And we're like, I didn't even consider it. I was like, yeah, mate, that sounds great. Too easy, blah, blah. Yeah. And then we get there on the night. It's like full sit down in this marquee, smart casual. And I was just like, fuck, we're going to have to get up and strip down and be the first in the pool. And sure enough, I was like, maybe Clint will forget or something like that. Like hanging on to her. But he got up there. He's like, before we start, I was like, here we go. Just started undoing my shoelaces.
Yeah.
You know what also I find fascinating about like that? If you were just like sitting back, like not a part of the event and you were just kind of watching from outside. You know, when we were in like primary school and people used to talk about peer pressure.
Yeah.
It's like we were just forcing people to get in the pool like, for no reason. Like even Clint calling you saying like, yeah, we had this tradition where everyone that got an award jumped in the pool. And like at no stage do you think to go, why? Which is like a very valid question. Yeah. Everyone's like, oh yeah, fair enough.
Fuck, it was refreshing.
Yeah, it was quite nice. But from the outside as well, like it was pretty sort of fenced off, not the right word, but closed in like marquee, and then every 3 or 4 minutes someone would have just run out and jumped in the pool fully clothed and gone back inside.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
The best is
sitting there going like, please don't let me win an award. I was never in danger of winning anything, but it's like I was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
The best was when they had like the older fellas in like full RM kit and everything.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I'll donate $500 if someone else jumps in.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
And then all the eyes just turn back to Clutzy.
And then Clint Newton would yell out, Clutterbuck! Off he popped.
But social anxiety hasn't existed for a while now.
Yeah.
It's impressive. It genuinely is because, like we like speak publicly, I guess, and we have to do things where we put ourselves out there. But I think there's putting yourself out there, and then there's you, Clutzy.
The most intimidating the only time I almost was like, oh nah, fuck that, was when they got me up to dance to TNT. When Cram was playing and I was in my budgies still.
You didn't have to be in your budgies at that stage, so
I was still trying off.
I think I put my clothes back on.
Yeah. Well, it added a little bit of ambience.
It was good to watch.
No, it was good fun.
It was
good
great
fun
to watch.
But yeah, that sort of shit's fun to do. What's sort of like some of the best things you guys have been able to do since, because you guys have been jetting around all over the place. You get to do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. What would you say? I reckon that Townsville thing we did together was pretty
that was
a lot of
fun.
fun.
Actually, that was how I loved it.
If only our flight didn't get delayed. Like I feel like the experience they had before, they were going to take us through the changing rooms and stuff like that. We still got to go and check it out, but I reckon that would have been epic. But even getting to go on the field at halftime, that was pretty sick.
Yeah. If you guys were slightly better at catching high balls, it probably would have been better.
Thanks for bringing that up, Leigh.
That was amazing to watch because we went first. I think if you guys had gone first, we would have been like, it's impossible.
Because like I was standing where you guys were and it would land like 15 meters behind me and I'm like, oh fuck. And like as I said, like when I play footy still, like my position is I'm meant to take the ball off the kickoff. but I always swap with everyone, so I get centre field, so I don't have to take the kickoff.
Not too
And
many
it's
blokes in
nowhere
sixth
near-
grade kick it that high.
No,
either.
no. Like it comes quite direct to you, sometimes grubbering along the ground. But it's just the fact that the ball's coming and everything slows down. It's like, fuck, I'm probably going to drop it.
For me, it kept landing behind where I thought it would. Like the last minute, I felt like it would be. Yeah.
It was quite windy. It was a wind tunnel.
I think so. And the
Yeah.
wind picked up
Further,
after we
yeah.
finished, obviously.
And we just had all that popcorn, slippery hands. There's heaps of reasons why we didn't perform, I guess.
I just
But-
can't catch.
Yeah, that was pretty wild though. Actually,
that was cool.
We have you to thank basically Lee, for the all of you for the trays and trays of vodka lime sodas that kept coming out because your friend Deacon recognised you. Remember?
The deviation.
It was amazing. Yeah, Deacon. Yeah, I kept calling it Deacon deviation, which is pretty niche. Brisbane area. When I don't think he's ever been to Brisbane. So, but yeah, he recognised that. I think you'd gone home because you had to fly back in the morning, like straight away.
Yeah.
So we were at, what's it called? The
Mad Cow.
The Mad Cow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable place. And
Yeah.
What a place.
and Deacon came out and was like, yeah, boys, like, are you trying to get in? We were already in at that point. Like, I'm not sure why I was at the front, but yeah, he was like, oh, you're right, did need to get in. And I was like, no, I'm in. And then he was like, all right, come with me. And started off with like a drinks card, which was like 4 drinks. And I was like, wow, that's elite. No one's ever done that for me. Thank you very much. And then by the end of the night, it was like vodka sodas and we were about 22 deep.
Yeah.
Just trying to get
I think he said we had like a $3,000 tab, but then he kept bringing us trays and going, don't worry, I haven't put these on the tab. We're like, mate,
What?
We can't get through these
Yeah,
ones.
it's
Like,
like, mate,
chill out for a bit. Yeah.
that tab is not getting used.
Nah.
No way.
That was a pretty cool one. Yeah. And half time, Broncos Cowboys in Townsville to be on the field. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty good
Fucking
trip.
sensational areas.
Also down Adelaide, like that Velo 500 recently, I really enjoyed. I thought because I've never, I think Dad used to watch like motorsport quite a bit, like as in the bikes and then the MotoGP and then the supercars as well. But we'd probably always been more like cricket, footy, sort of focused, and then getting to see that up close and I think that was such a cool experience, like similar, I guess, to the Townsville one where you were able to see so much like behind the scenes stuff and be on the field at halftime. Like Adelaide 500, we were just literally in the Red Bull garage.
Yeah.
We were just seeing everything.
Fuck.
Like,
Yeah, that was
it
bizarre.
couldn't have been more. And like he was giving us like a set of headphones to like listen to the driver talk to his team and stuff. Like just the
That's
access that we
sick.
got there, we were like, this is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that was amazing. One of the we were down there with another couple of creators. They got to change a tire.
Oh,
Like,
what?
that was how much access they were happy to give.
Holy
They let
shit.
these blokes change a tire on a car that had to go out and do laps.
But I'd have so much head noise over
300
that.
k's an hour or something.
Very
as well.
trusting.
Yeah. Did I get head noise changing my tyre?
I think that car also crashed like an hour later. But apparently they checked it once he'd done it again.
Yeah.
That's so fucked.
But yeah, so that access of like that was very cool.
Yeah.
And like there's something cool about learning about a sport that you don't know as well. Like it's probably the reason like we've always understood cricket, but like people asking lots of questions around cricket and stuff like that. I was kind of in that position for supercars, like understanding the difference between like wet and dry tyres and what they were doing afterwards and like checking the tyres and how much wear it had and stuff. It was fascinating to learn about something that you really don't know, but with people that are actually good at explaining it.
Do you reckon there is a certain age that you get into like you were saying that like your old man would probably watch it more? I remember my dad, like specifically when I was like 10 to 15, would always be there watching the supercars on the weekend. But like I don't remember him watching it before that. So I'm wondering if there's like a certain age that a man gets to where they're like, okay, I just want to watch people drive around a fucking circuit as quick as possible.
Maybe.
Like, I really hope I'm approaching that soon because I can see myself parked up on a Saturday. It's like, it's so sick.
It's a strange concept, isn't it?
It really
Drive
is.
around
Yeah.
in circles. And going to it live is weird as well because you just see that one corner that you're
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And then,
And then you barely see them when they come past as well. Yeah.
So I just have this urge to go to Bathurst. I really want to go to Bathurst and just experience that because I think it'd be literally the wildest of wild people down there. And like it's such an iconic race. But as you say, like it's a bit different with the supercars where it's sort of like the circuit. But like imagine going to NASCAR where they literally do 300 laps of a fucking circle.
Yeah, literally
like,
is a circle. Yeah.
Like how enthralling. That's really good stuff.
Remember when we were in Vegas, it was really windy and they were talking about starting the NASCAR at like 3 o'clock in the morning because the wind wasn't as strong then or something.
Yeah.
Like, imagine getting up at 3 a.m. to watch that. Like, Although people probably don't even sleep in Vegas.
People would have gone straight from the cast there.
Yeah. It's early doors.
Following through, sing Matchbox 23 a.m. and then straight into it.
Pretty similar to our Vegas experience, to be honest.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah,
oath.
Vegas is cool. We've definitely never done that. That's well, we've never been to the US, and we actually have like a decent US audience as well.
Yeah.
So that's probably something that we'd love to do, and then I think we'd love to get across to the UK for like an Ashes.
Yeah.
At some
Fuck, that would
point.
be elite.
That would be very, very cool.
That'd be some of the best.
We've been talking about it for ages and really have taken no action on it, but I really want to do like a
Classic.
Yeah.
That's our favourite thing.
Yeah. Or say we're going to do it and then never do it.
We've
Yeah.
had so many like, good ideas.
I don't know if we've ever actually said it on the podcast though, but do like create a cricket game, like a T20. I reckon it'd be elite. Like the podcast Royale, but cricket. Get all the guys from Sydney involved. I reckon it'd be all time.
That is cool.
Yeah. I reckon we can make it happen.
Yeah, I like
Surely you guys have a contact at like Allan Border Oval or something, like at any oval, anywhere.
We've definitely got contacts.
God, I would love to just steam in and bowl right arm down leg side. It'd be so fun.
Can't wait to keep to that.
You get 3 balls in and it'd be done. Yeah.
We have changed a bowler.
No, I reckon it has legs though.
I like that.
That's
idea,
got
'cause
positive
yeah.
spin, you don't risk getting punched in the head.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
Well, although Virat Kohli stands
Well,
matters, if you almost combine the two, the cricket creator and the podcast Royale, based on what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Fucking oath.
When's this getting posted? It was based on what we saw 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. We've,
No, I like that idea because the boys in Adelaide, the Marmalade guys,
Yeah,
have done,
100%, yeah.
they've done like the footy game.
Yeah. I reckon
that-
they'd get
that was
involved in the
rules.
cricket too. The guys from Sydney, I've spoken to Hammy from the Bloke podcast about it. He is so excited. I know
He'd get
Roasty
around
would
it.
get involved. Yeah, I reckon
Can
we'd
almost do a
easily.
Queensland versus New South Wales.
Yeah,
sort of
that's
yeah.
cool.
And then pick a side and go over and tour the UK. And
Yeah.
see, this is like, that's never going to happen, is it? UK
Well, no, it's a
created
great
T20
Well,
idea.
now
game.
that 4 of us are on board,
Yeah.
we've doubled
exactly.
our
Yeah, we've
chances.
got 4 people not doing anything
Yeah.
about it. So that's good.
4 times 0 equals.
Talking about maybe getting other people involved. Obviously, we got the Chocolates Enterprises a little bit more than just you two fellas.
Yes.
Do you want to give us a quick rundown of who else is in the team? And I'm actually keen to know how they came about because like we've met pretty much all of them now, but I have no idea how that sort of came about. So
Yeah.
keen to hear about it.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if we'd probably. I'm sure we would have told it at the start, but I think first on board would have been like Michael. So I don't know the order, but yeah, like Michael was probably when we talked about those dad jokes, like the "Don't Laugh" challenge that went viral for us. I think we maybe thought that they could be all right when we first came up with like the concept or decided that we wanted to have a crack at doing it. And I was mates with his brother at school. I went to school together, and the first wedding that I ever emceed was the first wedding that he videoed.
Yeah.
He's like a wedding videographer.
Yeah.
And so we'd sort of reconnected that way. And then we also had at that wedding, this is a random fact, but at that wedding was also Matt Cairns, who is it was his first time doing live music, and he's now in Hollow Coats, or started Hollow Coats with his mate. So
Hectic.
yeah, which is like I think
A
they
real
had one,
Genesis wedding.
Yeah, exactly, like unbelievable wedding. And this bloke,
Yeah,
that got
couples
married,
divorce, but
he's
yeah.
got I actually think they're still together, and they've got the cheapest wedding ever because I'm pretty sure both of those two did it for free, and I obviously did it for free.
Yeah.
And then they've got just 3 genuine guns. Happy to throw myself in there. Yeah. So anyway, we sort of poached Mickus, well, Michael,
Yeah.
we call him Mickus, and said like, mate, we got this idea. Can you come and film it for us? And he was incredibly reluctant. I would say.
Yes. We got him to film quite a few things in the early days and had some very funny conversations. We would just ask him to do stuff, and he would just honestly say like, oh, that's incredibly annoying, but yes, I'll do it. He just was incapable of saying no, so he just kept filming things for us. It was really weird.
Yeah, and then so he was sort of doing those like the Don't Laugh challenge videos for us, and our podcast we were filming in just terrible quality. I think like we struggled to even work out where to point the cameras. I think we filmed a few that was just filming the table instead of us. And stuff like that.
Been
So-
there. Yeah.
So I think it was like episode 100, I reckon, of the podcast. And by that stage, introduced the next character, which is Andrew Godey, who I played cricket with at Valleys when we were like 19, like 18 and 19.
Ashgrove local legend.
Ashgrove locals, yeah, exactly, next to Maris there. And so I'd always found him hilarious. And we used to do like, the internet was so new, we used to do this thing called GDC, which was the Goaty to Drennan combination, because he would bowl, nick him off, and I would catch him, like TV. And then we started making these stupid videos. I'm pretty sure the page is still up on Facebook, and it's got about like 3 videos on it, but it's still running.
Filmed by Mikas still at this point?
No, this was filmed by like probably his wife Kathleen. And so I'd always thought that he was hilarious, obviously, which he is. And so I think when there was sort of like an opening on the pod, to get like a third person, we asked him. I think actually he filled in for like Sam Hazlitt, who started with us but was playing Big Bash and in COVID, so he was away for like 12 weeks. And so Goaty filled in, and he was a jet like straight away. He was incredibly funny. He'd been just so good off the moment. Still to this day, never looks at a document or a plan or has zero idea what we're doing, and then just delivers the greatest one-liners of all time, basically.
It's quite bizarre to watch.
Yeah, so I think episode 100, me and Goaty interviewed Marnus Labuschagne, and then Mikas were like, yeah, we should actually get this filmed properly. And I think that night Mikas sort of went like, I reckon this podcast is like actually going to be all right. So we should film every episode properly. And so that was when he started driving up from the coast every Monday to film them, and Goaty was on full time from then essentially. And it was probably about that point where we sort of were putting out decent social videos and stuff that we noticed the most amount of growth. I think that was probably about episode 125 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we also got Dave the Brit, who knows jack shit. He's in as like a editor. He'd edited like another podcast, and then we were paying someone to edit it, and I think they pulled the pin. So we panicked and were like, we know anyone else that can do this, and just randomly stumbled across him. So that was pretty useful. He loves Formula One, got Skin into Formula One.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and so that's sort of the team, I guess. That's how we sort of done it. And Mikas is now obviously sits on the podcast as well. Sort of started like we had his mic on mute, and then he'd like laugh in the background, and everyone was like, oh, we love his laugh. And now we sort of, his role more so, not on purpose, but we like asking him a question, he usually just gives like some ridiculous, dumb deck chair answer. Just panics when it's like, when the spotlight's on him. So that's become probably our favourite thing to watch.
Yeah. Speaking of that, can you quickly tell the story about the Heat launch the other night when you went there?
No, I was there. Goaty told the story a couple weeks ago.
It was so good. Like, we didn't see it either, but Goaty told us. Basically, it was something along the lines of Goaty introduced him to Ian Healy.
Yeah.
And Mikas had met him at a Bucks party or something like that.
Yeah.
And Ian Healy reached out to shake his hand. He's like, oh, we've met before. And Ian Healy was like, oh, really, where? And Mikas just like freaked out.
He just completely spaghettied it, yeah.
Cody said he factory reset him. He didn't speak for like 30 seconds afterwards. So
and apparently when it's like sat down for like 15 minutes to try and recoup.
I think we must have walked in.
Yeah,
just
no, we walked in just as that happened. And he's like,
because when he saw us, he's like, oh, thank God, someone else I can talk to. He's great value.
It's hilarious when it happens on our podcast. It's a bit uncomfortable to happen in a real life situation.
Actually talking to like an ex-Australia wicketkeeper. It's very funny. He is capable of. That's where that deck chair. We'd call them like deck chair moments where you just kind of fold under pressure, and he's produced some of the all-time. So he's great. But Goaty also played like one game of cricket for Queensland.
I think Clutzy's got his signature.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It's actually hanging up as you walk down the stairs to my room now.
And it was like an incredible grade cricketer. Like I played with him before I moved to Adelaide, and then when I moved back from Adelaide, I played for Redlands, so I played against him. So I got both sort of sides of the spectrum. There is. Yeah, one of the great grade cricketers, as much as probably not that many people are interested in Brisbane grade cricket, but he was incredible. And then he played one game for Queensland, the poor fella, and got like a first ball dark to Chris Green bowling, who's still playing in the Big Bash now. And then never sort of got another crack. So that's something that I think he's now comfortable with taking the piss out of. I feel like early days it kind of...
That would have been so hard to take the piss out of.
Yeah.
Because like I'd be scrolling through Facebook, it'd be like Valley's first grade, Andrew Goad, 100 off like 50 balls.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, sweet. Like he's just smacking people around. Just ridiculous.
And could also bowl too, so he'd either get like 100 or a 5 for like not many games would go past where he didn't do one of those two things.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
There was a season that was outrageous. I think he hit 300s in a row and took 6 for the next week when he missed out with the bat.
So like teams would get him out and be like, oh yes, he hasn't got 100 against us, and then he'd come out and take 6 for like
Fuck. Close.
See, there was a point where like, I played junior cricket at Valleys till I was maybe 15 or something, and for some reason I still like follow the page and get behind it and all that. But I reckon it was like maybe 2015, 16, 17, the Heat were going through a really bad point, and I was out on the piss every weekend. And after every loss, I'd like comment like, bring in Andrew Goad. Never met the guy, just saw his statistics on a fucking Facebook post, and that was about it.
I swear everyone that's played at Valleys was commenting that at one
Yeah,
stage.
yeah.
And it's like the Southern Hemisphere's biggest club or something. There's
Yeah.
1,500 kids that play there.
The new one is, why aren't you playing Jack Wildermuth? I'm like, that's Valley's new boy. Let's fucking go. Yeah, it's good stuff. Cricketers, it's just like, I haven't been around cricket clubs for years, but it just seems to be like there's a different flavour, a different feeling of cricket clubs. What is like, for you fellas, what is like a grade cricket scene like? Like I get like the footy thing where it's like everyone's just fucked. Like everyone is just there to drink and then play football. But like what's the cricketing scene like for you boys?
Well, I think the level that we've played at is probably a little bit more. That sounds quite an arrogant statement, but like the level that we've played at is probably more like cricket first.
Yeah.
But then definitely we've got some supremely loose units.
Yeah.
Like the year we won the flag like 2 years ago at Redlands, and after the semi-final win, for some reason everyone thought it was a great idea to just get up on the Redlands roof, just sit up there and order Indian takeaway curries on the roof, and then just be drinking a million beers.
That's
I'm not even
awesome.
sure. We've got this one guy at the club, Clint Goodridge, who like is an electrician, but just is like more than better. Like he might be a great electrician, but his number one job in my eyes is just getting people on the roof. He's a freak at it. Like you would not be able to get up there without him, I swear, this one guy. So so there's plenty of those guys too, isn't there?
Yeah, he's just this fit rooster with a stupidly good-looking rig that just it doesn't fit in at all, and he just throws blokes up there.
So I think we've always been almost like people work very hard at cricket for the most part. I would say like I'm probably more like back end now, but certainly like guys coming through, like we've got some Jets coming through playing first grade, like Jack Sinfield that's in the Queensland setup now, like Stefan Muller, Liam Smith, like these guys who are like very, very good cricketers who work incredibly hard. And I probably always did that throughout my whole first grade sort of career as well. So I think the standard dictates that you try very hard at cricket, but then you celebrate your wins. Like there's still some incredibly loose units that like and probably in a similar vein, like there's some pigs at our club.
It's just a different sport to footy in that, like even when you're trying very hard, there's still 50% of games you nick off for zero, and you still got to sit there all day for 6 hours.
And if you do nick out for zero, there's not like you get another chance. You know what I mean? Like at footy, you knock it on or something like that. Like you're going to get another hit up. You're going to get the pill again. You get out first.
Done plenty of those.
So I don't know. I've always felt like that's probably. Well, I probably don't play at quite the same level. I'm more in the 2s and 3s, but that's more the thing that keeps me going back to cricket. I think is not. I don't know. Even when you're not going well or not trying super hard to get bulk runs or whatever, just sitting there with your mates all day is sort of the highlight.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes quite fun to think of ways to like get through long days in the field and stuff like that. Like, you've got to be creative and you've got to have some funny teammates to get you through those days. Because if you've taken like 3 wickets in a day and they batted for 96 overs, you're like, holy shit.
I reckon that singly right there is the thing that kept me from playing cricket after school. It's like the thought of a Saturday being like even mildly hungover and just standing in the hot sun and our team going 2 for 400 or something, like they can get in the bin.
I think the last game of cricket I played was for a team called Yesterday's Heroes in the Brisbane B1 fucking subbies cricket comp. And we played against like these like 60, 70-year-old men. And just, it was heinous. It was at like 7th Brigade, is that at Chermside there? Yeah. Oh man, these poor old blokes just got peppered and we just absolutely gave it to them. They were trying to throw chat initially. And I was just like, this is fucked. Like, I don't know how these blokes are this age and they're still going out getting peppered by like 24-year-old kids.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I always get like this time of year, particularly when we're on a fucking just tear in the cricket, I just get such an urge to go play like a half season or something in 6th grade.
Yeah, it's the type of game I think that you can get like real. It always happens with like tennis too, at the Australian Open.
Yeah.
I find everyone goes out and plays like tennis. Everyone thinks it's real cool. Like same with cricket, backyard day, like Boxing Day. Christmas Day, backyard cricket, Boxing Day. Everyone's like, oh, I'm pumped for cricket, and then you realise by about like, if you were to play, you'd come back and you'd have one long day in the field of like 90 overs, and they're like, nah. Why do we? It's a mentally toughening game, I would say. When your team's going no good, you're like, these are days where you're drifting.
There are some unbelievable days too, though. I'd completely forgotten about this, but when you just mentioned rocking up a little bit hungover on a Saturday morning and spending the day in the field, it reminded me. We played a game at Sandgate in twos a few years ago. This one bloke who was good. He played 1st grade and 2nd grade, but just like probably didn't try as hard as everyone else. Just loved going out on a Friday night, getting on the beers, which at the time was a little bit frowned upon in the team. Like people took it seriously, and so it's gotten to Saturday. We're out at Sandgate. We've won the toss, bowled, and it's like the flattest deck ever. So it's a bit of a ropey decision. But just looking at our team, we had like more bowlers the first week or whatever it was. So they've bowled. We're going out to warm up at like 10 at 9 a.m. and realise like, oh, we're one bloke short here. Ideally, it gets to like 9:30. We're starting in half an hour. He's still not here. So his message is running a bit late. We go out the field at 10 a.m. We've won the toss, elected to bowl. We're one player short in the field. So it's like looking average. At this point, the captain's just blowing up because he's just had a big Friday night, woken up hungover, not made it on time. The captain's blowing up saying, you're never playing this grade again. You drop next week, mate. Like, call it quits. Just absolutely fuming. Cruises out at like 11:30 when they're like none for 100 or something like that. And just peels off, takes 6 for. Plays 1st grade the next week.
It went from their captain saying, you're never playing this grade again, to me saying, we'll take that bloke.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
We'll call him Ben for this story mainly because that was his name. But like, we had this thing at the last round game of my first season back from Adelaide. This same guy, it was like, and this is 1st grade, and I wasn't captaining at that point. So, and it was like a serious like sit down, go around the room. This is what we did well this year. This is where we can improve. I think we finished like 6th, so we weren't going to be in the finals. And it was kind of like. Like I think we just need to train harder, and these are all the things. And this bloke was the exception to the rule. He was just like, mate, I'm not going to stop drinking on Friday night. Outright said that, like in the dressing room, and everyone was like, okay.
If it's a winning formula for you, fucking go hard, son.
So
That's
when I said
awesome.
like people try harder in 1st grade cricket, that's still always the exception to the rule. It's like,
Just
I don't know
genetic freaks.
how he did that. But he was amazing. Like, he would rock up, and you know that he was steaming from the night before, and he was always like quite good. Amazing effort.
And 11:30 for a 10 a.m. start as well. That's quite
a proper late.
That's a genuine that's a Mr. Drinks break.
That's
Really missed the full session.
That's unreal.
It's extremely impressive. One thing we do need to ask you about before you boys leave is Skin. Talk us through the Lucky 27 saga.
I was going to bring this up too because I think that's when you asked before about like the podcast, like the growth point.
Yep.
I think in terms of like, we'd grown some social numbers through the Don't Laugh challenges and through like jokes and things like that. And definitely like we'd learned how to cut down decent short form videos, I think, by that stage. But there is no question that there was one moment in our history that just captured an audience. I think. It's just the greatest moment. I don't think anything will ever top it in my life.
Yeah, I don't see how you could possibly top it. Yeah, that was definitely the second sort of point that caused a bit of a spike in listeners and stuff. So that was nice. But yeah, to talk you through it, I don't know what to say. We were just recording a normal podcast. We were doing a name storm, just coming up with stupid names for things. What were we names-storming?
No, it was a nickname.
Nickname. Sorry, it was doing so stupid nicknames for workmates and things.
The guy's name was Willie Pearson.
Yeah. And they called him Prince Albert.
Yeah.
So that was the nickname, and it just fell flat. Just no one really cared or laughed that hard, and we like to finish every segment with a good laugh. So we were just sort of panicking, like not really sure what to do. And Leigh just randomly asked, "What are the odds of you getting a Prince Albert?" And I don't we just haven't played the odds game in years. It just came out of nowhere. I don't know why that popped into your head. It was the strangest thing, but I was like, oh, okay, I mean, sure, yeah, I'll play the game. Said 1 in 50, which in hindsight is just
ludicrous.
I'd be talking thousands if someone asked me.
Well, he put me on the spot, and I was just thinking like, well, if I say 1 in a million and we're nowhere near each other, it's just going to fizzle out even more. Like I need to at least make a game of it, but obviously say something where it's like, I'm not going to have to get my penis pierced. So I thought 50 was enough, and it just was not enough. It was really not enough. So yeah, someone's counted us in 3, 2, 1. We both said 27. And like the whole time, like it was just the first number that popped into my head, but it just felt wrong. Like 27, like it's.
But then you don't want to change because
And I was trying to change, and I just couldn't think quick enough. Like the countdown already started, I just couldn't think quick enough to get another number out. And so that just came out. He said the exact same thing, and I was pretty screwed.
From my perspective too, like I didn't really like. I was putting myself in his perspective, going like, no fucking way I would ever get my penis pierced, like not a chance. So I was trying to say a number that I thought, because my thoughts with the odds game were always you either go real close to the start or real close to the end.
Yeah.
So I thought he was going to do one of those two strategies. So
if not, he'll go in the middle, 25.
I'll go somewhere in the middle so that like we don't. Because I was like, I kind of want the segment to end well, but I also don't really want him to have to get his penis pierced. That's like, because if that was me, I'd just be like, no thanks.
I think if we did that and it happened, I'd just be like, I'm not doing it. Like I understand the odds game, but I'm just not.
Well, from our perspective, like, because people will say it. We used to read some comments at that time. Like, I don't know how many years. This was like over a year ago.
Yeah.
April last year, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere.
No, like July last year, halfway through last year. At that time, we were getting comments going like, you guys are terrible friends. Like, why would you make him do that? Like, that's your brother. Why would you make him do that? It was like, we tried. Like, at the time, we tried so hard to go, like, we'll delete that. Like, it's unbelievable, but you're literally going to have to get your knob pierced. That's not something that anyone's in podcasting for, I don't think. Like, let's just remove that. It never sees the light of day. Like, it'll never see the light of day. It's an amazing memory for us. And, like, Skin, the whole time, I'm just like, nah, like, I lost the odds game.
Yeah,
what a man.
Isn't it funny how the odds game is like so like straight and narrow? You can't disrespect it. I only had one person disrespect the odds game. Understandable why they disrespected it. We were like, I don't know, 19 or 20 up at Woodgate. Kept doing the odds on absolutely everything. And then one of my friends, Kate, she's now overseas. She was just being an absolute pest. I was like, what are the odds of you jump in front of the next car driving past? She gave me 7 and we both said 5. And I was like,
my days.
well, and she's never done it.
Did she move overseas?
Well, I think so. Like it's something that, well, it's sat with me for 10 years. So, yeah.
Still owe me that.
But like that's something in my mind where I'm like,
okay, 7 to jump in front of a moving vehicle.
Yeah,
I feel a lot happier with 50 for a
yeah,
it's true.
She was pretty maggot.
Did you have heaps of people like not believe you? Because we had people messaging us like, surely this is not real, and I was like, I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but I'm fairly certain it's legit. Like,
yeah, plenty of people didn't believe us, and probably still don't. Like everyone would say, like heaps of people would tell us that we sort of scripted it or planned it, obviously, because it's just completely impossible. But I just don't see how all 4 of us would have reacted like that if it were planned and scripted. Like,
also, why would you want your cock pierced? Like, we're not here to king shame, but like,
if that came up in the planning meeting before the podcast, I'd just be like, no.
I always felt like the credit that people gave us to think that was planned. I was like, you guys have obviously never listened to an episode.
Or like you watch the videos we film where we actually are scripted and have to do some form of acting, and we're just so like, just uncomfortable. It's just so awkward. There's no way that was planned.
And also, like, we still get questions now saying like, has Mitch still got the Prince Albert piece? Like, I think you only kept it for like as long as you had to before it was.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I remember watching a video of content, and whoever did it was like, you have to leave it in for 6 weeks or whatever it was, and you were like, fuck.
Yeah, it was something like that. That was the recommendation, like just to make sure it didn't get infected or anything. Give it like a good 6 weeks. So. Yeah, it was a rough 6 weeks, but as soon as I got past it, it was out.
What was it like that day that because we like 4 of us, that group that I introduced, so Jody, Mikus, me, Skin, like we were like, well, we're all been a part of this. We've got to come and watch. And we'll tell them about where you elected to go for it.
Well, so like, as soon as we posted the original video, we started, I was saying, like, I'm gonna get it done. I've lost the odds game. I'm happy to do it, sort of thing. Like, I'll be a man of my word. But we immediately started getting all these like emails sent in and comments saying,
we'll
like,
do
not do this. Do not do this.
Really?
Yeah. We got an email from a doctor saying, like, I have amputated a man's penis because a piercing went wrong. Like, don't do this. So I was like, ugh.
Is it too late to delete that?
But I was like, okay, well, I've already said many times I'm going to do it, so I just need to find like the best piercer I can find to make sure I don't get an infection and nothing goes wrong. So,
Do they advertise that sort of stuff? Like the best?
It went through.
So I just went, like, researched for hours and found this place that like only had 5-star reviews, and it all seemed kosher, sort of thing, but it was down in Melbourne, so
It's a quick trip down the road.
yeah, so I flew down to Melbourne to go to this place where I was confident I wouldn't get infected, and got all 4 of us came along, and it was just the weirdest day. Like, we just walked in there, and she's like, "Okay, take your pants off." There's like us 4 and her in a room, and I've just dropped me dax. And
I thought we were piercing a cock today.
And she was like, "Do you want this
Strangest
numbed?"
thing.
So obviously, like, your natural
Sure,
reaction,
yes.
I assume, would be like, "Yeah, I do."
Yes, obviously I want it numbed, but then to numb it, she essentially got got this numbing solution, put it on like a cotton swab or something,
Yeah.
and just
Straight down the hole.
just put it straight down. The so like the process of numbing your penis hurts, which is stupid.
Yeah.
So that sort of defeated the purpose. But anyways, we're then sitting there waiting for the numbing solution to work.
Still pants off, or did you put them back
pants
on?
off, pants off. She's like, all right, we just got to wait a couple minutes for it to go numb. So we're just sitting there. My dick's out. Just waiting.
There's a video of Cody just like, because we're all sitting there just like, he's daxed
Not
out.
sure where to look, but yeah.
Out of the room, and Cody's just like, so what's everyone up to this weekend?
Stupidest thing.
Oh man, yeah, no. There's a lot of things I do. I'd never get my
Yeah.
fucking cock pierced.
Yeah, it's
fair enough.
funny as well how you talk about like planning episode and like having a story arc that like helps grow the show. It must be almost annoying to know like we've peaked. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we sit there and try and come up with new story arcs, and it's like I don't know what you could do to top that. I've got nothing.
Yeah.
And we got quite a bit of like content out of it, because I think like the process from you losing the odds game to actually getting it done was like 12 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Right.
In that time, we had to ring like a piercer, make sure that we could get booked in. We had like a couple of guys on the phone that had it done, and like so many people were talking about it's the greatest thing you'll ever do. Like, you got so many reviews. And
really like positive reviews.
very positive, yeah. And then Skim was like, nah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, people that had it would say like, "Matt, you're never going to go back. Once your wife tries it, you'll never go back." It's like, no, that was not the case. As soon as we got past the 6 weeks, it was off.
Yeah.
We still get questions about. You get questioned about, like, we're at the cricket with Mum and Eloise, your wife, and then the bloke behind's just like, "Hey mate, just got to ask, did you give it a test run?"
That's right.
Oh, fucking
Yeah,
hell.
spitting out silver.
Yeah.
Quite
Yeah.
a comfortable
Fucking
conversation.
hell.
Yeah.
That is the thing. We're just, it's going to be hard to get a story arc that sort of tops that, but it was an amazing period about, obviously less amazing.
Yeah,
for
great for
Skin,
you.
but just like in terms of, I've never seen like, I probably grew up like idolising like Hamish and Andy when they would do like the gravy chip and like stuff like that when I was like, 17, 18 and listening to them, and the way that they would like go for like episodes out of like still talking about the same concept but just like evolving it and you almost felt like you had to come back and listen to the next week because you're like, oh, what's going to happen on this? And that was the feeling like that. I think that period was like where we almost got like accidentally just came up with like this story arc.
Yeah.
Which was kind of an amazing lesson to learn, but also very hard to replicate.
Yeah, fuck.
But still, things I guess things you would have learnt from that experience you could take into the next story arc or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
and
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. No,
most
it's.
certainly.
I remember seeing the clip when it first got posted and just being like, "Oh my god!" Like,
It was
and yeah, I
fucked.
know we got messages from people because obviously people sort of saw that. We'd see you guys at events and stuff. Like, do you think it's real? I was like, I'm pretty sure it's real.
Well, I can
Like,
tell you, like, we watched it live that day, but then I've never been more, like, startled than the next morning. So we stayed down there. The next morning I woke up and Skin woke up after us and, like, walked out of the room and his pants were, like, genuinely just, like, soaked with blood.
Oh.
And I kind of, like, it's almost like, I hope he kind of knows.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was, like, pointing it out to him.
Yeah.
I was like, just your pants. And he was like, yeah, it's sort of been bleeding a fair bit through the night. I was like,
Yeah, that
what
first
the
night
hell?
was rough, actually. I kept getting up to go to the toilet and just like you looked out and the bowl's just full of blood.
oh, terrifying.
Woke up the next morning and saw my shorts. I was like,
Not that you'd need it, but
concerning.
did you gain a few inches?
Just the way you did it.
Because I reckon it would swell up so much. Fuck.
Yeah.
I've literally just been like touching my cock, like in like.
Check
yeah,
it.
it's
Just
uncomfortable
checking
to
that it's
think about
okay.
that.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
feel the pain.
You're Vietnam, yeah. No, you're a much better man than me. Boys, before we let you go, what's next for the Chocs? What's coming up? What's 2025 hold apart from a Sam Constas review on the 14th? What else can we look forward to?
Neil Diamond tribute band.
Oh, we forgot about
Oh,
that.
fuck. We did forget
That's
about
another
that.
inside joke that we'll explain one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We probably like just a bit of a boring answer. I wish we had like more outrageous. Like this
Yeah,
is
we
what
haven't
we'd like
exactly
to
got a
get.
trip to Vegas lined up yet, or anything.
Yeah.
But there's like little things I think that we'd like to do a lot better. I guess like but similar things that we're already doing, but just in terms of like I guess like the apparel sort of side of things, and then we talked at the start about how we like doing a podcast, but also kind of creating like YouTube videos as well, like you guys do with your vlogs around like Magic Round and stuff, and we're going to try and I guess get a better schedule. Like the podcast is kind of we can schedule that and keep to it pretty easily, but we've never been able to do that with sort of YouTube videos, so that's probably a priority for 2025, I think it's fair to say. And then just continuing to build like a community. Like we've talked to you guys about your Frothy's sort of Facebook page and stuff like that, but I think continuing to build that and trying to get to maybe doing like two podcast episodes a week and stuff would be something we'd love to achieve by the end of this year, well, next year.
Yep. Geez, those hats are looking good. Speaking of your apparel, I noticed Tim Naki basically hasn't taken his off since he got one.
Yeah.
That's been a
great,
massive
man.
win, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
Fuck
How was the
yeah.
great man? Just before we do finish, sorry. How was Tim Naki?
I think that was one of the great days.
Yeah, he seems like a fucking legend.
Yeah, he actually is a great man. He's a very funny bloke.
And he genuinely like taught us how to play blackjack. Basically, like Skin was still arguing with him about some things because he's a scientist, but so they disagreed on some mathematical equations. But for me, I was just like, I'm just whatever he does, I'll just sort of copy that situation. So, and I've never been.
Consequently, I lost all my money and Lee walked out $200.
Yeah,
Probably should have
so-
just listened to him.
Yeah, but it was very cool, and it was cool to hear like his story around the fact that he'd like tried a few like content creation things
Yep.
before, and then kind of just like I think he just wasn't afraid to try like new things, and then had a crack at this sort of I'll bet 10 cents for every follower sort of situation, and committed to it, and I guess he's been able to build a pretty intense following from that. So, but
He's done well.
he was classed at like we went to like a golf sim with him and then went to the casino with him. He was just very, very good man. Like the way that he kind of is on camera, he probably sprays the dealer a little bit more. He didn't spray us as much, but like he's just that fun-loving type of American, which was cool. And he likes the new hat, so we're happy with that.
It's a massive win. I'm pretty keen for him and Matty Jordan's podcast, to be honest.
Oh.
I reckon all those Kiwi streamers are hilarious.
Yeah.
Matty Jordan would have to be one of the funniest, and him and Tim together just seem like the perfect combo.
Yeah.
So,
And he also loves like horse racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goaty is like obsessed with. So those two, I think for like the last 10 minutes of the podcast,
Yeah.
Skin and I sort of just stood there like, well, we just sat there like saying nothing. We were just like, this is amazing. We don't have a clue what they're talking about. But like the passion that was on display in that room was quite impressive.
Yeah, that's sick.
I listened to that episode. It's definitely worth checking out if you haven't heard it already. But you're right, the horse racing bit at the end. When you did the trivia and you did it on horse racing, you could tell they were both just in their element. It was
Because I just hijack every trivia that we do. So I ask like a ridiculous question like, what's your favourite mustard that contains the word horse or something?
Yeah.
Just like asking these stupid questions, and then those two talk for like the next 8 minutes about like their favourite New Zealand racehorse.
Yeah, he just loves it. And even he's the same with blackjack. I found that bizarre. I thought if he was making videos and like playing online blackjack was essentially like his full-time job, that in his spare time he'd do other stuff.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we finished recording, he took us to the cast and just sat there all night just playing blackjack.
Yeah.
Just froths it.
Sick.
Great, man.
It was good.
It's very cool. No, boys, thank you for coming in, especially as we said this time of year, busy as and Skin. We know you're expecting a little baby, so congratulations and good luck for that. But we appreciate you guys coming in, and looking forward to 2025. Let's get this creative cricket game off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
I like that.
We'll get it going. Stay tuned.
4 heads.
Thanks for having us, guys. Sorry it took so long for us.
No, it's all
That's all right.
good.
No worries.
Appreciate your
fucking good.
persistence.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.